But yeah, if you don't have any questions, do you have any questions?
I'm good.
I don't have any questions. All right, so we're going to go 3, 2, tits. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another film festival fans finally figuring out what the difference between fiction and fantasy is, while filing away frameworks that finish with fantastic finales of folklore and freedom. Uncle Gary finally phones a friend on whether or not famous people fuck with headphones on or not episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Alfred Grimm the Third.
Trace.
Well, I don't know why
What's
you
up, dude?
said it like some.
I'm going to be honest with you, dude. 2 things are happening right now. 2 things. And take note. Blood pressure's through the roof because I've had so much fucking caffeine today. I probably would have been better doing coke. Secondly, I feel like I squatted a fucking baby hippopotamus. Like my hip, like there's a softball in my fucking hip joint right now.
You need to go see Mr. Freeze. Get that lined out.
Bruh, I'm feeling some type of way.
For our listeners, they should go donate to us doing the polar plunge.
Fucking yes, dude. And then also, Thomas brought up the website that we're working on. It's on the way, guys. I promise you, we're working diligently. We just want it to be perfect. And then also, I haven't told Thomas this before the show started, but we're going to start a Patreon very soon as well. Okay, guys, so that's everything I've got for this.
Did you see Iggy Azalea made over $300,000 on OnlyFans in her first day?
I did not see that.
Yeah.
Who's Iggy Azalea?
Well, hit him with that intro.
This week, joining us in the Days Grimm studio. I don't know why I'm doing it in a damn whoever that guy was that touched all those women voice. Welcome to this week's episode, and in the studio we have Thomas Bernardin. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Did I hit it?
You nailed it.
Fuck yeah, bro.
You nailed
I
it.
kind of blacked out there. Because I was trying to think of the name of the guy with the pudding pops.
I was like,
what's his name?
I don't know.
I was like, he said it
gonna
right
mess it
like
up.
20 times in a row, and then it's
Right.
not going to be right. But you nailed it. You nailed it.
I'm gonna fucking
So Thomas, if
nail
people
myself to the
couldn't
cross.
tell on Brian's fancy little intro that he wrote,
Yeah.
you're from the Evansville area? Were you born here?
Yeah. Born
in Evansville?
born and raised.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
And then currently, I mean, you're just like a freelance film guy, right? You own your own film business, basically.
Yeah. Yes. I guess I would. Well,
Not really freelance. If it's your
yeah.
own business,
I want to
right?
say like more. It's a little bit more than like freelance because I have my LLC.
What's a freelance? I don't know what that means. For you fancy guys that hold cameras for a living, what is the term? What does the noun freelancer mean?
It's basically just like an independent contractor, basically.
Yeah, so like if you need photos edited or a film edited, like you could hit the person up and they would be able to do it. Or if you need, it's
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
It's just
I feel like it's a term like people used to like say it a lot more, but now I'm just like I'm a filmmaker. Like
Right.
I'll just make
Like
if
straight
you
up,
need-
he's like, I'm a fucking gangster. That's what I do.
Well,
I mean, are you?
yeah.
You can tell.
That was
us.
very hesitant, but yeah,
Have you read Quentin Tarantino's new book?
Oh fuck! I forgot about that.
I haven't. I'm a big Tarantino fan.
Oh, it's pretty
Who
decent.
the fuck isn't?
He basically just goes through and talks about like how he fell in love with movies and like going from being a kid and like going to different theaters. His mom was dating like a black guy that took him to like black theaters and stuff like that.
Oh really? I didn't
yeah.
know that.
It was really interesting.
He's real big on like the being in the theater to see a
Right.
film and
Yeah, none of that weak ass COVID shit. Fucking pussies.
But he said his next film's going to be his last, I think.
It is. It's 10. He originally
Yeah.
said when he wrote Reservoir. I don't know if it was when he wrote Reservoir Dogs or Jackie Brown, but it was in that neighborhood where he said, I'm only going to do 10 scripts. I'm only doing 10 movies. It was either the first or his second movie where he was like, I'm fucking...
I kind of feel like he like always says that though, where he's like, well, I mean, maybe this would be like the 10th, like if he sticks to it.
He said,
but like I feel like there've been other interviews where he's like, I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna retire after this one. It's gonna be done.
I think he said he's gonna try to do a series next. He's already got a whole series written.
That I mean, I hope he like. I don't want him to be done. Like he won't be done. Like I'm sure there's no way he would be.
So,
like,
what do you think came first for you? The love for the camera or the love for movies?
Oh, like the art itself or creating the art?
That's a good question. I'll probably flip both of those questions upside down and say it was probably more the love for story, like a story, like storytelling, and then like that turned into grabbing like a camera or so I guess maybe it was like the camera first, but then that it was like but that
telling a story through the camera.
but that was like out of like I actually found this like VHS tape recently of like my sisters and we did this like show in our basement where we were like it was like a talk show or something
with your dad's over the shoulder camcorder,
like the full like VHS tape in it, and then
oh fuck yeah,
but that was like, you know, so I think it was probably like oh, this kind of seems like cool, and then I always like liked movies growing up, of course, but it wasn't like some directors where they're like, oh, I saw this movie and it was like, yes, I want to make movies.
This was like your coming to Jesus moment. You didn't really have one of those.
Yeah, not really.
You just always loved the tell of a tale.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And mostly that was through like art though, because like my grandpa was an artist, and so like I remember being in like 5th grade and being like, I want to be a commercial artist when I grow up, and people are like, how do you know, like what?
Sick,
right?
Like, what are you, 30 years old?
Yeah,
you're like fucking 9.
My grandpa did much. A lot of this is going to reference the podcast you did with Wes's. But my grandpa,
check out Wally Opus podcast.
Like you said, your grandpa would have like all the grandkids over, make them draw in the basement, and put all their pictures up on the wall, make you do little contests and stuff. And like my grandpa was very similar. He's like I would always draw like cartoonish, like, and he was like, no, you got to sit down. Here's the lamp. You got to draw the lamp with the shadows. He's like,
very realistic.
Like a still life, like this glass container like this in front of us, like
realism.
Yeah. You're gonna call it
a decanter?
Okay, that's what I was like.
Well, if you're from the
west
side,
you're right. I think that's what it's.
If you're from the west side, it's called a decanter.
A decanter.
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 That same Okay, so shout out Grandpa. He's 97.
Fucking
still
still
lives in
crushing
his own house, going through the Wendy's drive-through, everything, you know. And but the decanter, he calls his couch a divan.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever heard that before?
I have. My grandma has like the old fancy furniture.
He's like, come sit down on the divan.
What's a divan, dude?
So
that sounds like somewhere where like
it's like a fancy couch.
That sounds like somewhere I would get raped in divan. You know what I'm saying? Like what happened with Brian? Where did the man touch him? In divan.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
My divan pulls out.
No shit, dude. That's sussy. Anyways,
I might actually know the answer to it though, because I think I'm the weirdest guy you ever meet. I think
I fucking love weird people, just for the record.
Divan was like, okay, so you know how like Kleenex is like a brand.
Yeah. But it's
really just like
a generally used term.
It's a tissue, but everybody calls it Kleenex because of Kleenex brand.
Right.
So correct. I guess like divan was like
made this fancy couch.
Kick-ass couches or something.
That was the Lazy Boy before Lazy Boy, probably.
Yeah, something. There you go. Everybody's nodding. Probably like in the 50s or something like that. And so it was just like a term that like, you know, it's divan, just kind of locked in his like.
Come on, sit down on Daddy's divan. You're like,
but my grandpa would have these guys over that did billboards before billboards were like basically printed and then put up. Where this guy would like actually hand draw them, and like they'd take an old school projector and they'd like line it up and then like do the outline or whatever. I didn't know if like your grandpa had any cool art friends that was like coming over to show you like weird fancy things.
Oh, you mean like growing up and stuff?
Yeah.
Excuse me. No, not really. It was mostly just like him, because he was like, he knew how to draw. Like he would do like still life stuff, but then he could do like cartoon. Like he always did this little. So like his last name is Hartman, and he'd always draw this little. Like he had like
a character,
a character for his last name,
or a caricature if you're from the Boston, New England area.
Exactly.
You know, camera guys, we got random knowledge where Brian has like scholar knowledge, you know? Like we got the street knowledge and Brian's like scholar knowledge.
None of my knowledge is like anything you hear me say, like go double check me on Google, because it could just be a good story.
Speaking of, if you want a random fun fact, my old boss at work the other day said, let me know when this is done, you know, because we're working together on a project. He says, let me know when this is done. I'm chomping at the bits. And I said, hey, Brian. Yeah, his name's Brian, too, by the way. I was like, hey, Brian.
Isn't it just bit?
Don't you mean champing? He was not aware. And this is the fun fact for the day. Fun random fact. It's actually champing at the bit. Champing at the bit. And it's when a horse has the piece in their mouth and they're nervous. So they're grinding on that piece and like they're champing it. It's a British thing.
It's not chomping.
Nope, champing.
Oh man, I always thought it was.
That's what I thought
chomping
too.
It, because I knew the bit was like the horse thing,
the thing that goes in, yeah.
And that's why I was like chomping at the bit. That makes sense because it's like
misconception. Common misconception.
We just Americanized the term, and Brian's like, oh well, the proper old English way this thing is said.
Dude, on the West Side, they don't say even chomping at the bit. They just say, hey, put a fucking chew in, you'll be fine. Anyway, so
do the death of the week real fast.
He's like, yeah, do the fucking thing, dude. I was about to tell you. I was like, hey, can we get this fucking death of the week rolling? This week's death of the week brought to you by Corndog Development, making these super sick coasters. Check him out on Etsy. The link's in the description. If you use our promo code, you'll save 10%. Promo code Daysgrimm. Don't worry, I got it this week, Thomas.
Yeah, it's fine.
This week's death of the week, ladies and gentlemen. More than 30 years ago, the actor I'm going to do my best here. Died after being thrown from a horse while filming The Return of the Musketeers in Spain. He had dreaded shooting that particular scene because it involved having to, quote, thunder at a speed across a cobbled bridge, despite the danger and his lack of horsemanship. New word. Didn't know that was a thing. Horsemanship. His tragic death seemed to shock the industry into realizing the need for health and safety changes. But his son, Rory Kinnear, who followed his father into acting, has told The Observer that lives are still being put at risk with corners cut due to pressures of time and budgets, quote, all for the sake of a thrilling shot. He said, quote, no one has ever seen a shot and thought, that is worth the death of whoever made it. That's this week's death of the week. Short and sweet this week.
I mean, this guy's using a horse, but Thomas, I actually just saw a video the other day of you on rollerblades skating backwards through the new B Fit.
Oh yeah.
This
is way more hardcore than that, but
okay, let's be very fucking clear.
That guy was badass.
This dude had no goddamn sense, and he had no reason to go that hard.
No.
Have you ever filmed anything?
He went fucking so hard, dude.
Have you ever filmed anything hanging out of a car window or anything like that?
Oh yeah, like
so
out of a trunk of a car, underwater. Sick. I mean, yeah, like. You got to go for it.
Right.
Dude, I'll tell you one thing.
You got to go for it.
I saw there's a band on Instagram that I'm starting to follow now. God, and I would forget the name of them. But they have they're a metal band. They're hard as fuck, dude. They go super fucking hard. They're from Canada.
Okay.
And
Canada people always go hard on
I can't remember the name of their band. It'll come to me later, but
okay.
They have the funniest fucking reels, and the one they put on their Instagram today was the black guy in his car with his kid, and he's like, the letters say like, when I'm jamming out to metal in my car, and it's like the black guy losing his mind.
Oh yeah.
And then he just like, his son's eating French fries, and then he just smacks the French fries out of his kid's hand and like beats his kid's head into the dash.
Oh yes, dude, I know which one you're talking about.
It's a classic video, and then they just put their song over it. Oh dude. Their humor. I'm gonna have to remember their name. I'll look them up in a minute. But yeah. So, anyways, they had no fucking reason to go that.
What was it
hard.
like
It's
filming Boredom Bros, where like you look over and I'm hanging out the front of an ATV?
Dicey, dude. We did some dicey shit for some good shots.
But I'm saying cameramen don't care. Like you're in it for the shot, not like you're focused on your little bitty camera screen, and you don't even realize.
Well, like you
what's being a paraplegic, anyways? Fuck it, dude. You get some sick new wheels, you know?
Yeah.
You follow how'd that happen? I got this sick fucking shot. Check it out, dude. 400,000 views on fucking YouTube.
legs cut off.
Yeah,
Or
dude.
something.
It's like, dude, you're missing all your toes. It's like, yeah, but it was fucking worth it.
Well, it's like
It's art, man.
Tom Cruise. Like you guys know about like all the stuff.
He does
with-
all his own shit.
Yeah.
Or as much that he can.
And it's like you look at him and you're like, I'm kind of getting to the point now where like I see the stuff he does and I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but it's also kind of dumb as hell. Like, dude, like if you know, like you could have a stunt double do this and like
wouldn't have to worry about fracturing a rib or something.
Yeah, because like if he like messes up, like he's done.
Right.
You know,
And the movie's getting put on hold.
yeah,
Even if it were, or like even more so if it were for like Top Gun. I mean, he's literally flying fucking jet turbine powered vehicles.
I mean, it's like I'm not saying it's not like badass. Like it's awesome.
It's fucking sick, dude.
It's awesome, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like losing its edge. Like I saw him like
That's true.
just recently like riding like a dirt bike off. It looked like into the Grand Canyon and then like parachuting off.
He's
It's
gonna
just
end up like Ken Block.
it's
or
like
something.
oh cool. Like what crazy ass thing is Tom Cruise doing this
No
week?
shit, man. You're gonna wind up like Jackie Chan with a dislocated hip and fucking 2 blown out ACLs and a goddamn missing hand. Like that motherfucker
Yeah.
did his own stunts for like 40 years.
Yeah.
and he's just all beat the fuck up. He's got like 9 real teeth in his head.
Oh
you know
my
what I mean?
gosh,
This
yeah.
dude's. Do you know Jackie Chan, the martial artist?
Do you know Jackie Chan?
I gotta-
Like the most famous
I gotta
Asian
make sure-
person
no,
out
Bruce,
there.
You could argue Bruce Lee is more
Bruce
famous.
Lee's dead though, so I mean, like if you were alive during then, maybe. But like,
What I'm getting at is, dude, I just now realized how much fun I'm gonna have with this conversation that we have today.
Oh yeah, man.
Thomas, what high school did you go to?
Yeah, let's start from the beginning. Get through this timeline.
Okay. I went to Memorial High School.
Okay,
Which I shouldn't say that too loud because there's a rival school across the street.
so
I
when-
mean, a Catholic's Catholic, whatever,
Yeah.
dude.
so did you pick up skating before high school, or would you say you really started to go into it in high school?
It would.
It's okay.
Probably
Yeah,
middle
dude.
school going into high school.
No,
Dude, I stroke out like at least twice a day.
it was probably in like I was probably like 12 or 13 when I like started getting into it. But yeah, I really kind of like picked it like went like hard into it like in high school. I mean, like I was like the skater kid, like
Right.
kind of like the fringe.
And
dude.
we should
Just-
preface
just
roller
because-
skating, not
I was gonna ask
skateboarding.
because I didn't inline or
Oh,
rollerblading.
yeah.
skateboarding.
So like inline, like roller. We always just called it like rollerblading.
So rollerblading, I was gonna say that's when you picked up a camera basically to film other people, your friends going
Is that
down
with
rails.
the 4 wheels?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're doing like
They're
not inline.
Yeah,
but,
they are inline.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, inline rollerblading.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Versus, I'm picturing like 1960s, like
Oh.
high socks, short shorts,
Oh,
tank
yeah,
top,
that'd be
like,
cool,
Bee
but-
Gees in the background. You know what I mean? That's what I
No,
was
this
picturing.
was like the height of like I started skating in like the 90s where it was like roller like inline or rollerblade or whatever was like really
It
was
was
just
taking
like
off.
it was just like really big, but it's like like the tricks and stuff like sliding down the rails and the
Oh, yeah.
ramps and like jumping off roofs and gaps and stairs
Oh
and
yeah,
blah
dude.
blah blah.
It got a little out of control there for a while.
It did,
Yeah.
and but it, we would go out and like film things, or be like, hey, like you should try this stair gap, or like see if you can like grind that rail or something,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and then I'd be like, oh, I should bring the camera along, like and skate and so I got like good at like filming and skating and like doing it all kind of symbiotically like together.
And
Okay.
falling and saving the equipment.
Oh my god,
Dude,
yeah.
how much ass do you eat carrying that fucking camera around? Like, I mean,
Oh,
are you
it's-
constantly going down?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes not as much as you would think though.
Really? Okay.
Like on skates, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, there would definitely be some times where like you'd be like so focused on like filming the trick,
That you're not watching.
that you would be like watching the guy like, oh shit, he's on the rail. Okay, is he gonna come off fakey or what? And blah blah blah. Like, what is he gonna do? And like, there's like a curb in front of you, and you're like, oh crap,
Or a fucking 3-year-old, and you just plow him down, dude.
Or the worst of all things, a rock that's like this big that fucks your shit up. Like, I almost broke my hand going backwards. Like, and I hit probably like a pebble, like the size of the fingernail on your thumb or pinky, that like it almost destroyed me.
Dude, I skateboarded a little bit. Like I never got very good, but I could roll around. I could go up and down hills. I could go pop shove it. I could ollie. Like it was very, very intro, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot. A lot of my friends could skate a lot better than me, but it was fun to like get out with them. But yeah, dude, that fucking pebble, dude, she will fucking bend you over and give it to you all night, dude. I've fucking literally skidded from my wrist to my elbow, and it's just like blood.
Yeah, I picked up skateboarding very late in life, and like broke my hand, and then like realized I needed my hand for a job, and that like I should probably put the board down if I'm gonna,
Yeah, it's all
do it while you're on your parents' insurance.
For sure.
Lesson for everybody that's watching this video illegally, because it's 18 plus. But if you are under 18, do it now or forever hold your peace.
What's
18 plus?
Used to be. Oh no, I mean like didn't it used to be like up until like 26 or something?
Yeah.
Actually, I think it still is. Yeah, I think actually it still is.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, you can do it until you're like 20. Because I did that. I rode.
Crazy.
The wave.
You got a little time to do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, even if you are 18, just get out there and go fucking bungee jump or something.
Because I was coming home all the time, like Mom, I think I might have broken my elbow, or like, I think I like tore something in my kneecap or something.
You're like, my foot hurts, and she's like, honey, your femur's broken.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Is this bone supposed to stick out? No.
That's a compound fracture, dude.
What was one of the first? So did you you went to college, didn't you?
Yeah. I
was
went
that right after high school, or was there some like gap time?
Yeah. I went to USI.
Is it for film?
No, I have like a bachelor's degree in like graphic design, and honestly, like
it's that we've discussed several times on the show that the graphic design degree is
it's like the
multifaceted, because like I mean like I Am Cooper has a graphic design degree,
really?
And
Damn.
I think I talked about that with him one time. Yeah, it's very well, and a lot of that too is like I don't know. It just has a lot to do with like the way that they like, I don't know, like throw the school under the bus or whatever. But it's like they, well, this is a good topic to go into. A lot of people they thought, if you're interested in like video or like cameras and stuff, you want to be broadcast, or you want to be on the news.
Which you actually used to work for the news.
I did. And I learned, I got a lot of my like chops there, like editing and stuff like that. Like, people
work process, workflow.
Yeah. Like, where we'd have like 4 or 5 shows like every day and like hourly deadlines. And then if there was like a breaking story, somebody would come back in.
Edit this bitch now.
I actually didn't film anything. I actually like wasn't a photographer. I was just like an editor. So like back like it was probably like maybe almost like 10 years ago. But they would have like, it's when there used to be like, now they're all kind of like one-man band is like what they call them, where it's like a reporter will like go out and film their own stuff, write their own story. Just like set up a camera and do it. But back in the day, it used to be like, you would have like a reporter, and then they would have like their photographer that like, they basically like hung out all the time. They're like, let's go get this story.
Yeah, they're like eating at the Denny's or something, and they're like, fuck the bat light. The Batman lights on. We got to go get this fucking story.
And then I was the guy that it got like dumped on, where it was like, put this together. It airs in 4 minutes. Well, and you're like, oh shit.
I do want to.
I have a question about the news, though. May I? Or are you going to shift gears?
No,
I wanted to catch it. So when they would switch to like breaking news now, like there's no way to edit that, right? Because it's live. You're not like there's no micro editing or anything. Like when they go quote live, it's like they're live. Like you're getting what.
Oh, like when they go to like a live feed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like there's no
edit, right?
Because I don't know if like this might be what you're asking. Like there's no delay. So like if they could do anything, it's out there.
And then also because you see clips of that where like the guy will be like messing with his headset and they're like in the studio, all right, now we'll go down to Jim on the scene, and Jim will be like, I can't fucking hear anything.
Yeah.
And then like you'll hear him be like, I can't fucking hear anything, or like there's all those bloopers.
No,
that are out there.
that's very real.
But my question was like, is there any kind of like can you micro touch stuff like as they're live, or
oh yeah, well,
you know what I mean, edit while it's live? Does that question make sense?
Well, there's like a control room director.
Oh, okay.
Like just like how you guys are doing, like if they would like go to the guy or girl and they'd be like, oh, I can't hear him, da da da. They'd be like, get off him, get off, and like cut
press like another button and go
like
to that
cut
camera.
back to the studio.
Okay.
Or
I got you.
But I was gonna say,
blah blah blah. Yeah,
film editing style is completely different than movie, music video, any other editing style. Like their transitions are different. When you make a cut, like they want it to be a completely different type of way than like what your average influencer is putting out there.
Yeah,
I feel like most people
on the news.
Yeah. Like when they're handing it to you and they're like, put this together. The way you put that together, they want it a certain way. That's not like if me, a street editor, is gonna throw it together or something.
Basically, like all the soul sucked out of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we want this to look like a school presentation. No fancy.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to like anybody that's like in the news world and stuff like that, but it's I think it was a good like learning ground for me, and then I got to a point where I was like, I wanted to do like more creative things, tell more creative stories, like do things that weren't so like cut, like because the news is like very like cut
choppy,
and dry.
yeah.
It's not about like cinematic. It's about like just getting the info out there as quick as possible. And I know there's
Right.
there's always like a time and place for that. But
So in college, did you make any films on the side?
I made
that hustle,
yeah.
that side hustle.
What up?
Trying to get that money.
Hello. No, I made. I said no. I don't want to. Don't know. I said no. The answer is yes.
You did.
Yeah. So I made a couple like skate films, like skate videos,
like demos, kind of like
yeah. So
or compilations.
Okay, so to kind of jump back and then we'll jump back forward again. So the skating part of it, like I feel like sometimes people like hear that and they're like, oh, that's kind of a cool like tidbit. It still like influences like the way that I shoot and film and cut like everything today.
I feel like when people ask like, what's your they call it a vibe, but it's more of like your editing style or whatever.
Yeah,
like
style.
I feel like yours has that like that old school retro skatey feel. That very Thrasher.
I love that shit too.
And that's where it's from. And I get people that like will say to me, they're like, something's like different about your stuff, and I don't know what it is.
That's a good thing.
And I'm like, it's just, I'm like, it's kind of just stolen from skate videos. Like, because skate videos were always like, there's no time to really set this up. Grab the camera.
It's grungy. It's on the fly.
It's grungy. It's raw. It's like real.
It's like Vietnam War footage.
Yeah. And like, I love that shit.
Oh,
like,
for sure. Vietnam?
Oh, no.
He said, fuck the
dude.
No, not.
Oh, damn it. Don't fucking start, dude.
For the record, not talking about Vietnam.
And also, you can't say we've gone over this. Fucking chill,
I just like
dude.
making him believe it.
Thomas, come on.
This fucking guy, dude.
Hey, we got 2 Thomases in the studio, so like I've been real messed up today.
I'm about to be messed up if you keep saying that shit. I'm gonna start pounding beers, dude. By the way, do you want an adult beverage by any chance?
Yeah.
So we got the West Side Water. I refrain from using brand names.
Okay.
But then also we have our house bourbon here. This is it's Eagle One.
I might go with
Eagle Rare 10-year.
Well, I better go with that then.
Do you like neat or ice?
I'll do a little ice.
Little ice,
Little on the rocks.
But so
Not
you
to derail
did.
the story. But
Yeah. So
Oh, no.
you're saying going back in time to some skate stuff.
Yeah.
So you were just filming some like skate. What'd you call them? Complications.
No, that's when you're having a heart attack. No, compilation.
Yeah.
Compilation.
And kind of like so it's a whole like kind of like sub genre because like what it is. Here you go, sir. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Just got handed.
Yeah, that mic is tricky.
Just
It
got handed the
fucking
drink.
tries to choke you out anytime you move.
So like, and this is kind of important. I feel like in part of my story to like get this out to like for like what influences me now is that so like back in the day, this was pre-internet. So like what you would have is for those of us that remember the days before internet.
Yeah, old bitches, dude.
Yeah,
This guy.
pushing 40.
When you were 20 something.
I'll be 39 this year, so
When you're 20 something, dude.
when I was 20, so yeah, not that far.
No, we just talked about this last week. Good fucking goddamn it! I
Oh
fucking
my
love
God.
He said
working
when you're
with you.
20 something, that's the time of your life. So he's like, those are the stories when you're 20 something.
That's right.
That's your highlight reel. That we talked about that with Swamp Eyes last week. Reference episode 107. Peep it. No,
108, dumb
10
fuck.
I'm either way, you get it. But moving forward,
But yeah, so you would have like big companies, big teams that would, it might be like a skate company, or it might be like they make like badass clothing like for skaters or something.
yeah,
And then what they would do is they'd be like, oh, we should get the whole team together and go on a tour. And like, whether it's like West Coast or East Coast, or like if you had like a lot of money, like go on a European tour or something. And then they'd be like, oh, we better bring so-and-so so he can film it. So they'd be like skating in the streets,
Eating pizza, hanging out,
so
drinking
really,
beers.
like skate videos are like mini documentaries,
Right.
basically.
it's pretty sick when you think about it.
It
yeah.
really is, because you're just like it'd just be like you and your buddies just like filming like
A
stupid
weekend
shit.
out of town, fucking
And
off.
the cool thing that I feel about skating is that like it doesn't have to be a reputable city for it to have fucking dope spots to hit.
No.
So you're getting to see what like fucking Canton, Ohio looks like. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like fucking shitty town, Millsburg, Virginia.
Oh.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're seeing these fucking crack house whore towns
Yeah.
that no one gives a shit about, and you're all probably going to die at a very young age. They're getting that.
Yeah.
There's no hate behind that statement, by the way.
And
but you feel like you're getting to see these different places, and like, of
That's,
course,
that's
some
a
of the
great point. Yeah.
some of them are like bigger ones, obviously, for like the big,
Yeah.
notorious land pieces or whatever. But
and we can move on from this because I could talk about this forever.
I know we're tapping. I'm
But,
tapping my knowledge out. I'm tapping.
No,
out on this.
it's all good, but it's like, but that like influences like
Right.
the way I film today is very like raw and like mixed media.
So when do you think your first project was like that was not skate based?
Yeah. I know the answer to this, and it was because of the skate video that I did. So I did this skate video and put it in. Okay, I'm gonna back up 2 steps, come forward 1 step.
I like that.
I blew out my knee.
That's hot.
I tore my ACL.
Jesus fuck, dude. Jackie Chan Jr. over
Jackie
here.
Chan Jr. Skating.
JCJR, dude.
Yeah. And so I was all like late, I was all like
JCJR, dude.
sorry.
Blew my fucking knee out, mom.
That went around the block and came back and finally
my fucking toe hurts. It's like, yeah, honey, you blew your fucking ACL out.
oh my gosh.
JCJR. So you blow your knee out.
For those kids out there, I've dislocated my shoulder too, and I'm not sure like the 2 worst pains I've ever had, fully dislocated shoulder and blown out knee. I'm not sure which one was worse. They were both probably the most terrible pain I've ever felt.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. The blown out knee.
It sucks.
Fuck that, dude.
It sucks.
I've had buddies
So-
go through it. I've not.
So you're laid up in
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Thank you, Thomas. Yeah. Laid up in bed, but then like I could get out. Like I had the surgery. Then I could like go out and do stuff, but I couldn't skate. So I remember consciously being like, I'm going to make a really good skate video. And put like artistic stuff in it, everything like that. So then I put that in this like student art show at USI. I don't know if I can say USI.
Yeah, fuck them.
For sure, they can eat my fucking ass.
Yeah, they got my money.
Yeah, dude, you've already
They still
paid
got my
them,
money.
dude. Yeah.
And then they throwing cans up in here.
God damn, dude, I
I'm
gotta
probably giving Brian PTSD of the.
yeah, dude, incoming. Bro. I'm about to take shelter.
This story's taking too long. That's
No,
why I
you're
do
fine.
what I do, because I tell stories and stuff. But anyway, so this professor had this grant for like $500, and when you're in college, you're like, I'm rich.
$500 is a lot.
Yeah.
$500 is still like a lot of money, but like imagine being in college and like a professor's like, I'll give you $500 to like help on this, like not help, basically like edit this video. And I was like, yeah, like
Yeah, fuck yeah.
and it wasn't even anything like super exciting. It was like childhood like art education documentary or something. Yeah, so it was like, and he like wrote the whole script. I mean, it was like his thing.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, this is kind of cool that he's like, I got like paid to like
Right.
do this.
So not only was so you had your first non-skating gig. Was it also your first paid gig?
it popping. It probably was.
You didn't get paid for any of the skate demos before, right?
No, I mean that was always like my own money, or just like
Right.
or like
Damn.
making DVDs, and then we would like
Like sell the DVDs or put them in local skate
kids.
shops.
Let me tell you another story about pre-internet, where when you were a
Hawkers.
when you were a filmmaker,
And you drop mixtapes.
and you would have you would have like your latest DVDs of edits in your trunk, and when somebody would be like, "Oh man, I'd love to see that," actually, I have a DVD in my trunk.
Yeah.
And you would go out and get it and like put it in their DVD player.
Hell yeah.
These are true stories. Like
Yeah.
this is
So there's
it's like the mixtape stuff.
I
Yeah.
think in big cities they call them. I thought it was hawkers, but I think it's barkers. But they like
Okay.
people, young filmmakers that are from like Juilliard's and stuff. Like they'll go out on the streets of New York City and just like hold up DVDs, and like it is what it sounds like. They're like yelling at people like, "Hey, hey." They're like fucking ticket scalpers.
Yeah.
But they're hawking.
But I do kind of relate to you in this aspect. So, like, the way I fell in love with the camera was I had a tumor on my nuts. I still got both my balls, by
just
the way.
one for the record, just one nut.
Yeah, on one nut. But
He's so fucking
I had
dramatic.
surgery, and right before this, I deleted all my social media.
Okay.
And so I had surgery, and I was laid up in the house, and you can't lift more
Wait,
than...
so you still got them both?
Yeah, still got them both,
Okay,
thankfully.
God bless you.
Right, thanks. And I always clarify, because somebody's like, did you lose a nut? And I'm like, no, man, they're both still there.
It's kind of lame that you
Still
didn't.
good.
Right. But I couldn't leave the house for so long. And
Okay,
so
yeah.
like you can only watch so much Netflix, you can only play so much Xbox, and then like no social media and stuff before like you just can't be in the house anymore.
Dude, yeah.
And so like I started limping around when I could finally go out of the house, mainly because I couldn't smoke weed at my grandparents' house. So like I'd go to like Burdett Park and limp around or whatever. But like I would walk around with my iPhone and just take pictures, and people were like,
Yeah.
I like that photo.
Yep.
What'd you take it on?" And I'm like, "A fucking iPhone, whatever was out at the time."
I took it on a broken
Right,
nut,
but then
dude.
I bought a camera, like my first paycheck back.
Fucking-
You know
I
what
took
mean?
it fucking. I love the angle that you used here. It's like, yeah, because I'm falling sideways because my ball hurts.
Right. How did you find that? Well, I fell over in pain, and I was looking up.
Caterpillar falling towards you. But yeah, that's an interesting way to get into.
But I
it.
was gonna say like, well, like, so you're saying you like storytelling. Like, how often do you write your own stories? Like, in college, are you writing down? Like, do you keep a journal? Like, how often do you physically write?
I guess I did have a journal in like college, but I wasn't really like writing like
This was my day. You were writing
Yeah,
like
I was-
stories.
I wasn't really writing. Well, I wasn't really writing like a ton of stories or anything. Honestly, just up until like fairly recently, like most of like the film stuff that I have done has been more like documentary in style. Again, from the skating background, because it'd be like, cool, let's sit down and talk.
yeah.
Tell me why you love to do this. Like, I don't care about the numbers. I don't care about the stats. Like, why the hell do you do this?
And then also that you don't have to like really write the story.
No, and
That's dope.
well, and it informs like the creative part of it because you're like, cool, you know, Cooper, you talked about this. Like, let's go out and get some shots of like you with that painting, or like doing this,
dude.
or like, oh, you kind of talked about how like nature inspires you. So
I
like,
do want to see a video of Cooper out in a field, like in the middle of summer, in overalls, no shoes, no shirt on underneath the overalls, painting.
This is sounding kind of erotic.
dude,
Exactly.
it's funny you say that because we talked about
sun coming up over the trees.
one of our ideas we had was like him in a field, like painting and doing
Nude.
something, and it just, the idea didn't really come together. But it
It
Can
was,
we
was very
talk about-
majestic, man.
Can we talk about the upsetting lack of male frontal nudity, full frontal male nudity in
I think it's coming out
modern
now.
cinema?
It's coming out.
Mm.
There's not enough ween, dude. I'm just saying, like, we are very poorly represented in the modern cinema. You see titties,
a lot of butts,
Yeah.
a lot of male backsides,
titties and butts all day.
right.
Not enough, spotted dick, if you will, and that's a cheese from Europe.
So
I've also heard that if you do see one out in the wild on TV, that it's probably a prosthetic. Which I'm like, what? No, seriously.
Yeah,
Have
I've
you
heard
heard
that.
that
I've
too?
heard
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Fake dicks,
fake dicks.
so they can make
Dicks
me feel
inside of
bad.
dicks. It's basically a dick inside of a
It's
dick.
a dick sock. I have a dick sock pic somewhere, actually. Funny we bring that up. Anyway, so coming
You
out
can
of
keep
that,
that.
So I want to jump a little bit in time here because I want to touch on some things that we might be pushed on time for.
back or forward?
Forward.
Yeah, let's move forward.
So-
We're at college. Let's
Yeah,
move
yeah,
from
so-
there.
Yeah, that's
So
all.
after college, I assume you work for the news for a period of time.
Right.
You do a few side film projects. When do you make your first short film?
And for someone who's very dumb,
Yeah.
i.e., myself, what defines to you
Mhm.
the difference between a short film and just a fucking YouTube video?
Mm,
So maybe open with that and then answer Thomas's question.
right.
What is a short film to you?
I mean, so anything, it's a tricky question, because not a tricky question. The answer is kind of tricky, I guess. Cause most feature films are like 90 minutes, which is like an hour and a half ish,
Yeah.
or something like that. So I guess you could say like anything less than 90 minutes is like a short film, but still that could be like a pretty long film.
Right.
But then like there are, and I think I've heard people call them, I don't know, kind of like a micro short, or like a micro doc or something
Okay.
like that, where it's like, 30 minutes or 20 minutes or something like that. I mean, really, but to answer your question, like, I don't really see there like much
of a difference.
Honestly, I think it'd only be like if the creator's like,
This is a short film.
this is a short film. You're like, well, cool. We can't
It's brevity. Okay. Okay.
yeah,
did you-
it's
and then-
kind of there's not like, I mean, I get there might be some
rules.
like technical rules around
Like
it.
when you enter into a film competition, there's like, video must be at least 15 to 30 minutes long.
Right.
And this and that.
Or like if you do like a little retrospective on like Cooper talking about his paintings, or like Wes talking about music or something, like that could be considered like not like a full documentary,
But like a mini
like a
doc.
mini doc or mini documentary, if you've ever heard something like
Right.
that.
Okay.
So
Um,
did
and then
what
moving to
what was the first short film, and then did you write it, or did somebody approach you with it already written?
Yeah. So honestly, I mean, this newest film that I'm working on,
Factors.
excuse me, I got a little burps. Yes, it's called Factors. I mean, this is the first like full like actual like short film that I've like written. I've done some like other, I mean, I guess I've done some other like little like short things, but they've just kind of almost been like camera tests and like things where it's like, well, because I actually
You film on both film and digital, right? You've got two different setups.
correct, yeah. So
And Factors is only filmed on film.
so the Factors film is shot on 16 millimeter film.
So
That's
when
fucking hot,
when you're
dude.
Yeah,
editing, that is fucking hot.
yeah,
so-
come on now.
like
yeah.
there's a local photographer
Damn.
on Instagram, Lurker Life.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
he's from Evansville.
Yeah.
But he
Yep.
does a lot of film stuff. And there's another one,
Dude,
John Baumgart. He used to own a mattress place right now. It actually used to be in the building where Wes just did the Wally Opus Presents.
okay.
And he has a film camera. But basically, these film camera
Yes,
guys,
yes,
they
yes.
send them off.
Yep.
And
yep.
they get a digital copy back.
That's
Is
right.
that the like same for film, or how does that work? I've never seen a film be edited via film, other
yeah.
than like old school where they're like, oh, we
Yeah.
snip this and then put
I
this
should've,
here.
or
clip it together.
I should have brought my film camera in to show you
I
guys.
almost
didn't
asked
even
you,
think
but
of-
I figured we'd
think
be
about it.
buddies after this episode, and I'd see it.
Oh
later.
yeah, man. It's you're exactly right. Like you film it and then so the Factors film is the running time is like 17 minutes. So what on each roll of film?
And I actually went to high school with Ty.
Oh, dude, Ty's awesome.
Ty's, yep.
Well, and his wife Emily is like the lead actress. They kind of play this like couple that's like in it. But so for 16, like on one roll of film, I can only film 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And then
And you're cranking it the whole time, right?
well,
this is not crank.
So essentially it's a spring wound motor.
So you wind it up one time.
So you wind
pull
it
the
up
trigger.
until the tension, like you can't wind it anymore, and then like you press the button and it like
Starts
it's,
recording.
like releases the shutter, and and that's where like the film is exposed. But on a full wind, this is wild. I mean, I'm a geek about this stuff. On a full like wind on the shutter, I can only film something 30 seconds long. That's the max.
And then it stops, and you got to rewind. And
So you can only film something 30 seconds long, and each roll of film before you have to like change it all out, you only have 2.5 minutes. And we shot like a almost 20-minute film on it. So it's
Jesus Christ, what is fucking wrong with you?
like that's what a lot of people are asking.
Dude, you might have sociopathy. Like, we might need to get you checked
Probably.
out. Yeah, dude.
but don't all good artists have
He said fucking
What was
sick.
what was the writing process like in this for you though?
Yeah.
Like, did you get the idea in your head, and how did you get to typing it out?
So honestly, a lot of the like short, I've done a lot of, I call them almost like poem films that I've done like over the past couple years, and a lot of them have had Emily, who's Ty's wife, in it. And so like I almost was kind of like working out like ideas, and I feel like this like Factors is like the birth of like what those ideas were like over the years or whatever. But honestly, I wrote it like pretty quick. It was like almost like this time last year. I think I was feeling kind of depressed, and it was like cold as hell outside. And
I wrote a short film last year around this time.
Really?
I haven't polished it, but if you want to get together and,
After the
and
show,
make-
we need to talk about this. Holy fuck, dude. I've masturbated to it a couple of times.
wow,
A1. Seriously.
it could use a little polishing, but
It's
I
hot.
would like to
dude,
do
it's
something with
I bet
it.
it's
Hold on. We'll talk about it after the show. Let's not burn daylight on this.
it's on burn time.
So-
All right,
so-
cool. No, I'm excited about
So
it.
you basically have to send all these reels off. Do you record the whole project, and you got it all in a box, and you send it off, and they send it back on a flash drive? Excuse me. Wow.
The
That was a
fuck
good-
is wrong with you, dude?
was like-
Tighten up.
That's like a dragon burp. Things are pretty loosey goosey.
No shit, dude. Like, it's normally not. Okay, it's really just this fucking guy, dude. He's like, also... He's like, dude, you just fucking throw up into the microphone?
Maybe we got two Thomases in the room.
What was your fucking... Dude, shit's getting wild.
Synergy's
It's
getting-
Friday night, dude. We don't know
T2,
what the
man.
fuck's going to happen.
T2, two Thomases.
TT
squared.
All right, so
But
anyways.
yeah, so like I actually sent them off like as we finished them, and then so I didn't like collect them all up and then like send them off at the end. So it was like sent off like 3 or 4 rolls at a time. Yeah, and then they process it, scan it, and they send you back like a QuickTime movie file.
The
yeah,
digi.
and so it's like it's a digital film in the end, but like
But the film.
but like when people are like, "Oh, that's a cool effect," I'm like, "Motherfucker, That's film.
That's that raw
That's
dog.
real.
And I
That's a
do
raw
want to
dog.
say it's funny because like you posted a picture on your story the other night of you editing and you had your feet up and your coffee. Or whatever. I edit the exact same way. I was literally editing one of our podcast videos. I had my legs up and my drink and like some candy or something. And I was like, this is exactly the same.
Dude, the editing life.
He's like a 9-year-old. Candy and just like candy and weed.
Well, you gotta have I'm with you though. You gotta have the snacks when you're editing.
Yeah.
Because it's like you gotta like pretzels. I like pretzels.
Oh
when
fuck
I'm
yeah, dude!
editing.
I fucked some pretzels.
Do we? I know what I almost skipped right over. Do we want to touch base on what Factors is about? Can we?
Yeah.
Can you do like
I
a
can tell you-
60-second
Yeah,
summation?
I can give
What
you
is
like
it?
an elevator pitch. Yeah.
What is it?
So it's a
And for everybody that's curious, we're looking at this is thomasbernardin.com. That's Thomas BernardinFilm.com. And you'll see all this this promo stuff if you're only listening.
yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, so the nutshell of it is it's about a girl who loses like a close friend in like a car wreck, and she kind of feels like like they were both in the car together. Her friend ended up dying and she survived. So it's kind of like she kind of has some like
survivor's guilt.
kind of like some survival's guilt, but she also feel like she distracted her and her friend like ran off the road.
Are they lovers?
No.
Oh, they're not.
They were just like friends.
Oh,
and
okay.
so she feels like responsible in a
Right.
way of like what happened. But that was like you get a little flashback of that, and then the current, so it jumps in current time, and basically just like the grief still of like how she lost her,
Right.
like how her friend died is like affecting her current relationships. But then you're also like, but is she also like going mad? You think she maybe kills somebody, and then like
Fuck.
at the end you're like,
Don't spoil it though. Don't
Well-
give it too much.
well, no, I know, no,
Okay,
it's
okay,
fine. I
okay.
mean, like.
Because I want to see this now. I'm getting
Okay,
in it.
yeah. Well, we're gonna do a premiere. Yeah, so it's kind of I probably do need to shut up about it. People don't ask me about movies because I'll
Right.
tell them the whole movie.
Don't spill the
Right.
beans.
Yeah.
I want to do a series of short movie, like a movie.
So I'll stop there.
Well, a movie that's full of
leaving
like
cliffhangers.
short stop endings, to where like you get just interested enough in the main character, and then
Yeah.
like they die and it's over, and it's like 2 minutes, and
It's
it's just
a-
like a series of those. Like
It's a psychological thriller.
Right.
I'd say that.
I like that.
That's the first time I've like been able to put. I'm like, oh, that is.
So what was casting like? Trying to like, well, you said you kind of wrote it with 2 actors that you already had worked with in the past
Yeah.
in mind, but like, did you have to cast for some of these other positions?
A few of them for this, since it was like mostly, I kind of like wrote it like for people. Like I wrote it for like the 2 main actors, and basically just had to ask them like, hey, do you guys want to be in this? And we like raised some money, so I was able to like actually pay them and stuff. So it was kind of like a legit thing, and they felt good about it. And so,
And then what's lighting like for a film thing? Like portable lighting's got to be a bitch when you're filming at night
yeah, I mean,
on
and
something like that.
yeah, and it's like I did a lot of that myself, and then my buddy Jordan Barclay, who he's a photographer in town here.
He runs JR Local or JRL.
Is that same guy?
No.
Why have I heard his name?
Barclay, huh?
Well, he's been. I mean, he's a great photographer. Like he's been around.
I think
for,
I've seen it on his Instagram page.
So like, yeah, we have like an office we share together, but he was like my assistant director, and so we like.
And it was Michael or Jordan Barclay?
Jordan Barclay.
Jordan. Okay. Yeah. Shout out Jordan, J-Dog. I call him J-Dog. What was I saying? He helped me a lot on like the lighting and the like gaffing and like stuff like that.
Because I guess
So-
a lot of people don't necessarily know, like Brian with film, like you don't get a little preview like you do on a digital camera.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
it's raw dog. You're getting what you're getting.
You're raw dogging it, and then it's like
you
Christmas.
Have a sight, you
gotta
have a
wait.
sight glass though, right?
Yeah,
But it doesn't show you. It only shows you through the sight glass. It doesn't show you with the camera adjustments that you've made.
yeah. So you gotta.
It may
know
look
your-
clear as fuck through there, but if your exposure's off, it's gonna be dark as fuck. And you won't know unless, because like
Yeah.
my Fujifilm camera nowadays, you know what I mean? It shows
Oh, you got
you.
Fuji.
Yeah, I
That's
love
awesome.
Fuji, but it'll show you like exactly what it is that you're about to snap or hit or record or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
So you edit in Premiere.
I actually edit in Final Cut Pro.
Oh, okay. I'm a Mac user.
Shout out Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah. And mostly just because I'm like old and crotchety and don't want to learn a new program.
Right.
Well, dude, honestly, like
I'm the same way. That's the only reason I'm still using Premiere.
dude,
you know
if
what I mean?
If you use Windows, like that's fine. But like, get fucked. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be very open and honest about. I want to.
I was thinking about this
create
the
a
other
dialogue.
I was like, where's
no,
this going?
I want to
Where
create.
is this
I want to create a dialogue with people that use anything other than iPhone and Macintosh, and I just want them to know that they can eat my fucking.
I was
I agree with you.
I got ungodly high the other night. And
ungodly.
yeah, seriously, ungodly.
Ungodly.
This is why it was ungodly. Is I started thinking about Apple, right, and the Macintosh and stuff, and their logo.
Of course, as one does.
Right, you know,
super
and
stoned.
I'm an Apple
Man.
fanboy. You know, Steve Jobs gets many loads.
fucking
You know what I
is,
mean?
dude.
But I was thinking that the logo is an Apple bit now, and I was like,
Yeah.
their thing is the apple, and I was like, Adam and Eve, the apple. I was like, we've all bitten the apple. Like when you buy it, what if that bites you, and you're biting like a forbidden apple?
Oh man,
I was like, I don't care. I'm going to hell. Love Apple.
that would be that would be a.
I'm gonna be
It's
honest.
like you get to heaven,
that
and
would be
God's
a
like,
nightmare, I thought.
you bit the apple.
It's like drinking Monster, dude. It's like the mark of the beast. I'm sure we've all seen that, like the three that make fun of the Trinity and all that stuff. Yeah, whatever. But
too
anyways,
high.
yeah, I'm going to hell for sure. No, but seriously though, if you like,
I don't believe in
if
hell.
you're a curator of any sort of media, like if just go to Mac, just go to Macintosh. It's easy.
What do you do? Editing sucks dick. Like honestly, it's the worst part of the process. And in my mind, I just like filming it or coming up with the idea. You know what I mean? And like I may have an idea of how I want it put together, but like sitting down and so like this episode will be like an hour and a half long. You know what I mean? So it'll take me like 3 hours to edit or whatever, which is short. But you know, like doing a wedding video where you've 17 hours of footage and you gotta you get the footage, you gotta sort it, and then you line it out, but then you gotta condense it all even more.
Right.
Like, what do you do not to get burnt out during those times?
Did you just burp into the microphone a second time?
So
I'm calling those the dragon burps.
How do you?
This is my personal drink called the Jimtown Drop.
Oh, yeah, we're on the Jimtown Drop,
episode,
yeah.
whatever. It's just tequila, Red Bull, and lemonade.
Yeah, we had a. I don't know if you've heard of the
tasty
band.
as hell,
the
man.
band Forthright. They're a metal band from town.
That does sound familiar.
They're
yeah.
rad.
Yeah.
But yeah, we actually curated this drink for them, and they said it tasted like the inside of camel. That being said, you know, so
It's
back
a little
to the
salty.
back
But
to the how do you? Thomas had a really good question though. So like, how do you get away from camel? But like, how do you prevent getting burnt out on like these hours plural long sessions where you're like, maybe it's the least exciting part of the film, or maybe it's a shot you didn't want to shoot, or just a short thing, like he said, like a wedding
even
video.
like you're sitting down and your phone's going off, or it's easy to get distracted when you're grinding and you've been there for like 2 hours.
Well,
and
it's like for me, it's different. For me, there's like two different ways like that I think about it. Like when it's a personal project, like the short film. I mean, so like I have clients and stuff that I like work with and have to like push out work for.
Right.
Like
they're opening a new gym and they want
like during the days and stuff. So like that's what I'm usually working on like during the day, and then that's the kind of stuff where it's like I'm like hitting a wall. I'm like, okay, I need to walk over and like get some coffee, or like honestly, the short answer might be to just like get up and like go for a fucking walk. Or like walk around the block, or just like take. I think like getting to like little like finish lines and then being like, I'm gonna like walk away from it until tomorrow morning, and then like come back. And a lot of times it'll be like, oh, I've got like a new idea.
Yeah, that's what I ran into this most recent project I'm working on, is like editing this wedding video. And I like work, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see what I have. And I started over, and I'm like watching it. You know, it's like 7 minutes, and then like I'm like, by the time that 7 minutes is over, I've made 15 cuts of like, I didn't need this, and then you condense it, and you're like, fuck, I got 6 minutes, and I still haven't worked at all on this back end.
Yeah, but there's always the part. I mean, like, so even like on the short film, I felt like I like didn't have. I was like kept like running out of time, like working on that. I'd be like, dang, it's like 10 or 11 at night. I just want to go home. But this is kind of like my baby project or something.
So your studio's not in your house?
No, so I work out of the old
old courthouse.
The old courthouse.
Do you have a MacBook that can work on it like mobile as well when you're not in the studio?
I actually I do have a computer at home, but it's like old as crap.
Right.
So like I can do like minor edits on it, but like my main like computer is down there, which is honestly good for me because I have like ADD and like I would just like work
distracted with stuff in
forever
your house.
on things like if it was right in front of me because I'd be like, yeah, because like doing creative things like is an outlet for me because like I have depression and go through some other things and it's like I have to like release that be like I just need to go like walk around, take some pictures or like, you know, make a little movie or like write something. So it like helps with that kind of stuff, but with it being like separated like from my house, that helps
you stay honed in.
Yeah, because it's like a spot I can like.
What are you rocking there? Are you rocking the new iMac?
Yeah. I have. It's not. It's like 2019.
Oh, it's not the iMac.
No,
it's
but
not running
it's
on the M2. But.
Yeah, that M2 iMac.
Nah, it's not.
Boy.
It's not that M2 game.
Do
but
you ever
it's pretty
find that
souped up.
your MacBook bogs after a certain point? So like when I used to
yeah.
when I used to edit on a MacBook, like you add in enough videos and stuff like that, and it starts to get skippy.
Yeah,
and they changed it to where you can't add RAM to it anymore.
Yeah, they're tightening that.
That's the only reason. That's the only
down.
reason I switched to a Windows PC is because I have 64 gigabytes of RAM, so my exporting, dude, like
you want to open up that hood and get in there.
Yeah, yeah,
that's what.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And by hood, he's not talking about foreskin. We're talking about the computer guys.
Correct.
correct.
Yeah,
you seen those guys that feel robbed and they try to like regrow their foreskin.
It's impossible.
They're like hanging weights off of it and stuff.
It's impossible.
Oh
no, they do it.
Was it Swamp Eyes?
They do it, dog. They made a documentary on it.
Swamp Eyes had his foreskin stolen from him. We talked about that last week. Yeah, wild story.
I need to go back and listen.
You
got to
check out Swamp Eyes. He's dope.
Yeah. But to finish on your thought though, like almost every project, it starts with like,
Fuck yeah,
yeah, this is awesome, and then like, oh shit, this sucks. Why do I even do this?
And then you do it again.
I'm
it's terrible.
Like and then you get to the end and you're like, okay, this is kind of badass. I want people to see this.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like going to the gym, I feel like.
And then until like one person's like, oh, I don't really get it. And I'm like, I don't care. It's not for you.
I have a
really,
question.
I'm just like, I'm going to go get my belt. Like,
I have a question for Thomas. If you do you think you consider yourself more of a photographer than a videographer? For you.
Thomas one.
Do you consider yourself more of a photographer than a videographer?
I've done more films. I'm probably recognized more as a photographer than a videographer.
Because the way that you describe your not hatred, but mootness for video, you know what I mean?
Just like I told Thomas earlier, I don't mind recording it, and I don't mind kind of directing and getting an overall idea for it.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to sitting and editing, I'm not fast at it. I'm not efficient at it. I would rather sit next to the person. Like for me, like I have ADHD and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I need a mom basically that sits next to me the whole time with a ruler. That's like, you know, like I'm editing and I go to pick up a phone. You know what I mean? I like, whereas like you being alone, you get more done. Me having at least one other person, even in the room with me, I get more done.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, like, I would much rather sit next to somebody editing, and then they're throwing it together, and I'd be like, well, what if you jumped this in front of this, or you know, what if we, you know, do something here versus I don't know all the fancy edits and transitions and stuff like that. That's a whole another ball game to learn.
See, I would almost say like maybe you're more of a photographer because people will try to hire, like I do like pictures on my Instagram and stuff, and people are like, oh, cool, can we like hire you to like come and take pictures of this? And I'm like, you don't want me to like, you need to like hire an actual like photographer. They're like, but you take pictures. I'm like, it's just kind of for me, like video, like film is more. I think photography is like, I'm gonna say something crazy. I think it's like, because you're trying to just get one frame right.
Right.
Whereas like video and film,
you're trying to get 60 frames for 1 second.
Well, and you can film a bunch of stuff, and then again, like when you edit it, you can kind of like, there's a motorcycle. I was like,
That dude has a huge dick, too.
You won't even be able to hear it
real
in
big.
editing.
I forgot. You can't hear it in the edit. God, I'm so fucking
big old motorcycle
stupid.
went by and his.
I'm fucking done. That was actually my
Dragging
neighbor's
his
weed
stuff.
whacker, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know. Yeah, so
But when you're editing a video, you think it's easier than necessarily a photo, or well, not easier, but like you were trying to get this point across.
yeah,
without,
I think I actually don't like mind editing sometimes because it feels if I'm like really into it because it feels like more of like almost like a piece of art or like a painting that I'm putting together. It's like, oh, I've got all these like pieces that I can use. I gotta like figure out how
they fit together.
Yeah, like it's a super big compliment when somebody's like, I don't know, that interview didn't go so well, and then like you get in there and you're like, I think I know what I can do with this, and then like you show it to them and they're like, what the hell? How did you get that out of that? And you're kind of like, yeah, because I've been doing it a while. Like you figure things. I mean, not that I'm like gold on toast, but it's like you figure things out,
Right. And you've been doing it for long enough that you not only do you know like certain things that like would make it seem like it flows a lot better and everything like that, but you probably also have like your own catalog of presets, your own catalog of edits, transitions, whatever.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So less personal. Well, it's just as personal, but less aimed at you and more so abroad into our social.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Fuck you for last week when I cracked a beer and you didn't say God bless you.
I fold my toilet paper.
I'm actually going to jump into a river and catch myself on fire.
Let's go.
I'm a piece of shit. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'll
Let's
never
go.
forgive myself. Do you want to go? That fucking end it all now. Squad suicide.
What the hell are we going to talk about?
Here's my question. So not aimed at you, but still personal. What is who's your favorite director and why so?
Oh,
If you got to pick one, you don't get a top two.
Yeah, no.
Top three.
I have mine.
Just one.
Yeah.
Who is it?
It is,
And it can be any decade ever.
Yeah. Mine's more current. It's Christopher Nolan.
How much of their film do you study? Or is there any other people's film, like Quentin Tarantino, like we were talking about earlier? Like, how much do you...
Well, if we were going like one or two or something, like...
Well, I was just going to say, how much do
Tarantino
you
would be-
analyze their film projects?
Honestly, like not... For a long time, I really didn't even watch that
Kind of
many
like
movies.
a comedian not watching other comedians.
Like, seriously. And then, like, up until, like, a couple years ago, I really started being like, I need to, like... Not I need to. Like, I felt like I wanted to, like, dive into, like, kind of getting into it a little bit more. But I love... Christopher Nolan's definitely, like, my favorite director.
Can you give me a couple of movies he's done? Just because I'm not super
Oh, yeah.
on the
well,
names.
my, like... So, I have an actual favorite movie. It's Interstellar.
Oh, that's Nolan?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking that dude.
He means it in a good way.
Well,
Yeah, it's
and
a
like,
compliment.
I was like,
Dude.
we're about to fight right now.
Dude, no, he is fucking stupid.
And like Inception, like the one
Inception, just as
where
stupid.
where it's like they're like inside of the dreams and they
Oh
go
my
inside the
God.
dreams
They
and
like,
it's like
fold France like a goddamn flapjack.
yeah, and then they're like oh shit, are we in a dream or is this reality? You can get stuck in the dreams.
Yeah.
It's I love how like
Leonardo DiCaprio like looks down at his dick and he's just and it's like, what is happening? It's like, what?
we might have watched the
and then he's being born.
Is this not the same movie?
But they're always like his films are always like I feel like they're like these infinity loops. Like you get to the end of the movie and you're like, oh shit, that's what that meant in the
back at the beginning.
in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to watch, except for Tenet. I've watched that thing like 3 times and I still don't know what the hell it's about.
Maybe that's the point. You know, if I was a director like that, I would totally do a movie along those lines.
I feel like it's like his formula, and he's just like, I'm gonna take this thing to 20.
Okay, so we have to agree because we're rolling over an hour, and I don't really at this point like it's not a huge deal, but we have to make. I wanted to make a point in this interview to talk social projects, like the question I just asked. So we all have to agree. You're coming in for a second interview, and we're going to need to learn some more about you specifically. But I want to learn.
Oh, cool.
So one thing that I'm curious about are like projects that have been done in history and like contemporary stuff and works, and your thoughts on those. Like the question I just asked you with Nolan and like why you liked him so much. Another one that I really think about a lot is, have you seen The Lighthouse? Wild flick. Have you seen The Lighthouse?
It's on my. It's an A24 film, isn't it?
Yes, and conceptually, it is exactly what you think it is. It's two dudes.
Yep.
Well, it starts with three dudes, and one leaves.
I need to watch it.
And there's two dudes in a lighthouse. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I've only watched part of it, but it's because I couldn't get into it. And
is it like Willem Dafoe and the dude from Twilight?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. And they're just there, and it's like sun up, sundown, sun up, sundown. They're doing their duties. It's a lot like that movie 28 Hours or 48 Hours or whatever, where the guy loses his arm.
Yes.
Movies like that. What is your thought on like these short purpose films that it's just like, hey, you're in this room literally the whole fucking movie. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about movies like that? And then which do you have a favorite?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I kind of, well, and some of that is, so like The Lighthouse, I think it's an A24 film. A24,
It is.
A24 is like this newer, like production. I say newer, like within the past like 10 years or so. A lot of their films are very much that way. There's this film called Hereditary.
Seen it. Loved it. Horror flick.
And like Midsommar.
Midsummer? That's A24?
Midsummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like very like...
Off. Weird.
They're very different from other films. Yeah. Almost like they'll stay on long shots. They'll just be in the lighthouse the whole time where you're just like, this is it? Like, this is what's happening? There's another one called Ghost Story that's like that.
I haven't heard of that one. It's literally like we were talking about when the podcast started. You're like, so are you guys going to like, when we start and you introduce me, are we going to ask some questions? Or
Yeah.
And I was like, no, we're just going to start and we're just going to see what you say.
What about like Castaway, where there's just like no words for like 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Like these one-person films.
Could you imagine that script, though? It's like, for the next 45 pages, you're not going to say anything, but you're going to carry around this volleyball, and you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I think directors are trying to do something like different where I'm going to say something controversial, and this is just my...
Fucking let it rip,
This is just my opinion. I like Marvel movies, stuff like that. I mean, this is really going to draw some hate.
Nah, I'm not a big
they're
fan.
the
Are you
same.
really going in?
But hold on,
same.
I'm going in.
it's the same formula.
I don't watch them anymore because I get fatigued. I'm like, there's so much damn stuff
It's
going on.
2.5 hours for a 30-minute film.
I can't follow I can follow the plot, but there's so much happening.
There's so many facets.
I'm like, this isn't even fun for me to be like watching this right now.
Yeah, like who gives a fuck?
Does that make sense?
Yeah, who cares about Thanos' fucking purple dick, dude? Like
they could have made the movie like an hour short. Like, I would have rather them be like, this thing is gonna be 30 minutes and it's gonna be like fucking like only what it needs to. I just feel I was excited about that stuff when it first came out because I did, I had the X-Men cards and the comics and everything. Yeah. And I get it, but just the whole like, and maybe that's a topic for different, just the whole like superhero.
Yeah. Right. This is not controversial. I think a lot of people will agree with you. Because I fucking hate Marvel.
Because I've said that to some other people and they're like, what are you? Oh my God. Like, I'm like, I'm not saying they're not fantastic films. I'm just saying like, I don't really watch them anymore because it's
Avatar?
Not. Those people are fucking nerds, by the way.
Yeah. Now, Avatar 2
is going to be sick.
I heard it.
I saw it in 3D and IMAX, and it was pretty badass.
Really?
I thought it was better than the first.
I heard you could just go to like an aquarium, and that was basically the movie.
Oh, it's
heavily water.
They're trying to build this huge.
Well, they've
universe,
already recorded part of movie 3 and 4.
Yeah. Really? I mean, James Cameron's pretty much, he's like hung his coat and tie on
Avatar.
Like he's going to die making Avatar movies.
I have a fun question as well. What do you think about Lucasfilms? What do you know about them and what do you think about them? I know because we were just talking about like the genres and like the cult fucking psycho nerds, and that's one.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Lucasfilms, it turned in from like it. So Star Wars basically turned into this fucking theme park. Somehow, this franchise tagged fucking theme park, all from fucking 3 fucking movies, 3 hard written stories by George Lucas. If I'm not mistaken, didn't he only write 3?
But there's also a bunch of fan fiction written
fuck that.
along
No,
the
I'm about
lines
the
of-
true story. Bless you.
Well, and it's I would encourage people to go watch. There's a documentary, I think it's on Disney Plus. It's called like it's his company that he has. It's called like Light and Magic or Light and Motion.
We're talking about George Lucas.
George Lucas. If you just search like George Lucas on like Disney, it'll come up, and it's really interesting because it's like it basically talks about how he like came up with
Star Wars.
Basically when it was like in the 70s where they're like, cool, we want to make a space movie. George Lucas as a person's kind of badass because
he's fucking dope.
Industrial Light and Magic, that's it. That's his company. So
when George Lucas set out to make Star Wars, little did he know he would end up revolutionizing an industry.
Yeah.
The 6-part series charts the evolution of the Industrial Light and Magic, the company responsible for the iconic visual effects of Star Wars, E.T., Terminator 2, Jurassic Park, and so many other films.
Dude, yeah. So I mean, it's like, I mean, I won't give it away, but basically, like he paved the like those movies you just read would
icons.
They would not have happened without George Lucas.
100%.
That's what people like don't. And so like that side of George Lucas, I'm like, that's
fucking rad.
That's pretty rad. But the whole like, I don't know if I can say it, the Star Wars universe and all that. Like,
I fucking hate it. I hate that it's that now. I hate that it is like the Marvel universe, but with Star. It's fucking annoying.
I like the grittier stuff, like the Rogue One and the Andor stuff, where it's like I don't like the polished Star Wars stuff.
Right?
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like the
100%.
I don't know. It's very I don't know.
I just find it interesting. Contemporary works are cool, and I like to get different people's opinions on them, just because, like, I love it. I'm a fan of the art, but I know nothing about the craft. So it's fun to have somebody that knows the craft and, like, directors and certain nuances to each director, and it's interesting to get your perspective on a couple of things.
Well, and I think like the other movies, like we were talking about, like I think that's why like A24 and some of those like studios are becoming more popular, because I think people are getting kind of like, they're like, oh, cool, another Spider-Man, another superhero movie.
Yeah.
And it's like,
fucking, we're burning out here.
They want something original, and that's like not like a franchise or like a whole like character thing, and
or caricature if you're from the Northeast Boston area.
Caricature, yeah. Anyway, but
originality is king. You can only do the same thing so many times.
But Tarantino's he's like the king of it, though, man. He's like
fucking Elvis, dude.
Dude, he's awesome.
He's probably gonna die on the shitter too. So I often think about,
awesome.
He's like JCJR, you know.
I love like if you've ever come across like old interviews of him where, you know, he's like, this woman at the grocery store was like, why is there so much blood in your film? And he's like, because it fucking is. I love it. It's awesome. She's like, oh, okay. And he's like, why not put it all in there? You know, it's like,
dude, fucking sell it.
It's like, we're like, I'm spending my own money, raising money, making a film. Like, I'm going to make it the way I want to make it.
How do you go about raising film for a movie?
Raising money?
Yeah.
Raising money for a
movie. What did I say?
Yeah.
Raising film for a movie?
Yeah.
Well, like for this, I mean, with this one being like the biggest one that I've done thus far, I did like another short thing. It was more like a documentary type style that I did like Kickstarter, and that was pretty cool. But then you have to like promise people things, and sometimes things take longer.
Sexual favors or
like a copy of the film.
Yeah, it's like
first access.
I mean, some of that is like fine.
You're not like starting an OnlyFans account for these people.
It's like you have a lot of homework on the tail end of it, where you're like, okay, these people that gave this much, they need like a signed copy, and this is blah, blah.
Oh, I'm following
like rewards basically.
Yeah.
So this time
they're like Prime VIP members,
right?
It's like a Patreon essentially.
Yeah.
That's
so this time I did GoFundMe.
How did that work out versus the what was the other one called? What was the other one called?
Kickstarter.
How did that work versus Kickstarter?
I think it worked better. Well, I mean, there are pros and cons, but like, a pro of GoFundMe is like
You don't have to promise anything to anyone.
and you get to keep all your money. So if you don't hit your goal, like that's the thing on Kickstarter. If you're like, we're doing it for 30 days. Well, if you like don't hit your goal at 30 days, you get nothing.
I'm sorry, the fuck?
No, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Because I've seen like,
What kind of fucking dog and pony show are they running over there at
Well, and
Kickstarter?
I mean-
Flipper? What is it?
Kickstart.
Kickstart?
Kickstarter. Well, and it does suck because like I've seen some like really dear friends, like a lot of like musicians and things like that, where they're like, man, we're putting all our eggs in like Kickstarter and doing it. And they didn't like, they were like super, I mean, I'm talking like they're trying to raise like 10,000 and they were at like 9 and didn't hit their goal and they get nothing.
Right. That's
I would
insane.
tell this Kickstart company to suck my chode.
But GoFundMe, like it does. So like our goal for this film was 10,000 and we didn't hit that, but like we landed somewhere around like 8,000 for the film.
And that's outstanding.
Yeah, and that that was a ton of people just being like, here's like $25, here's $30, here's some like family,
Right.
I got out the old feather and ink and wrote some notes to family and
Nana.
stuff like that.
Rolled out the Rolodex.
I need $100.
Yep.
100%, dude. I won't shy away from asking Nana for some cash.
I mean, worst they can say is no.
She's gonna die soon. Not your Nana. Jesus. I don't mean it like that. You know what I mean?
both my nanas are dead.
Sorry.
God rest their soul.
Yeah,
no, but I was talking about my Nana. She is gonna die soon. But like, so
I'm sorry.
give up the cash. Like, hand it over.
So GoFundMe is a good way to go. I mean, there's all kinds of other ones, but it's like
So then
Interesting.
once you raise the funds, do you have to sit there and like come up with a budget essentially for like
yeah, so I came up with the budget like before going into it. So I was like I mean most of it was like paying for film cuz film
film's
is
not cheap,
expensive.
especially to send it off and get it digitalized.
So I remember like
and
the
back.
rolls I talked about, there was like 2.5 minutes. Like one of those is like $60.
Fuck that.
And,
Ow.
and then when you go to get it like processed and digitized and stuff, it's like $180.
Per roll.
Yes.
Per one. So
Plus the 60 that you paid for the actual film.
golly.
So
you're 240 deep on per
Yeah.
roll basically.
So it
Yeah, at least a bare minimum of 10 rolls. Bare minimum for 20 minute
You
film.
probably fucked up a lot.
I think we filmed like 14 or 15 rolls. So
oh, damn, you're good.
well,
If it was me, I'm going through like 40.
a lot of them. I mean, there's
For a 20-minute film, I'm going through 40.
But I've been like messing with the film camera that I have. Like I like shot little things and like made sure I knew it like in and out. Like for like a year and a half
Dry run, basically, like ready to go. Yeah.
Before I was like, cool,
Full commit.
I feel like I could like do this.
20 minutes is so fucking long.
I don't know.
And you're getting 30 seconds per roll? Or no, you're getting 2 minutes per roll.
But 30 seconds at a time.
Yeah. So it'd
30
be
seconds
like
at a time.
it'd be like if your iPhone could only film video clips that were 30
seconds at a
long.
time, and then it maxes out at
And then it like
4 videos.
would like shut off.
And then you got to buy more information.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking... Dude, punch yourself in the face.
Which
like,
makes you have like major respect for like the old school directors.
Charlie Chapman's fucking director.
That like they would I was going to say this earlier where they would since they couldn't see it, dude, like back in the day, and this was when like film was like way more accessible too. They would like film takes or scenes or like, a big like stunt or whatever that day. And there's a term called like dailies. So like they would like take the film, go process it, get it. Yeah, that guy knows.
This guy knows what the fuck is up.
That guy knows about dailies. But they would basically like expose a little bit of it, like a little snippet, and they would call them dailies. And like at the end of the day, like the director and everybody would be like, cool, this just came back from the lab. Like, let's see like
How it turned out to
How
see
it
if we got to
turned
do it
out.
again.
and they might be like, oh crap, we got to do it again, as
Yeah.
opposed to being able to see
And the
it.
stuntman, or in this case, sometimes the real actor man has like 4 broken ribs.
So
And he's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to go back and do that again. He's like,
So I got offered or asked to be a part of a short film
That's
that somebody had already wrote.
Sick, dude.
And I started
Nice.
recording it. I was filming it for him. But the couple that played the lead roles, they broke up, so that it never went on any farther.
shit.
Was there ever anything along those lines of factors that came up to where you were just like, man, fuck this. Maybe this short film isn't like.
No, I mean the only thing, Emily, the lead actress, got pregnant during us filming it, so that was
You filmed her getting pregnant.
no, I did not.
Oh no! Well, the way you worded it,
Love you, Ty. Love you, Emily.
I was so confused the way.
Oh no,
it
like
was worded.
like during our like production of
Right.
like making.
I understood what you meant. Brian took it straight to casting couch.
Yeah,
You're not
no.
filming at this point.
No.
Just so we're clear. Okay,
No, they're
gotta
never.
be clear, guys.
Don't listen to this, guys.
But big
Love you
shout
guys.
out to adult.
Big shout out to them. But it proved like, and they had their baby at the beginning of the year. Cute little
Fuck
baby.
Congrats.
Girl named Miles, like Miles Davis. That's
Sick.
kind of cool.
Like the trumpet.
Yeah.
Trumpet player.
But they told me they were like, hey, we found out Emily's pregnant. So there were like scenes at the end of the movie because we shot it over the summer, but there were like scenes near the end where I was like, okay, you're not supposed to be pregnant in this scene. So do you have like a big shirt you can wear?
Right.
So we were like trying to hide it, and then I kind of had to like work it in at the end because it was
too much.
evident that. But that wasn't There were a couple of rounds of like they got COVID, somebody else got COVID.
Just delays the
But
project.
you've never to hone in on his question. You've never had a moment yourself where you were like, you really, really considered not doing film.
Oh, is that what you were asking?
Well,
Or were
I
you
was asking with
like,
the short film.
project.
Brian was like adding part 2 because I didn't know if
Yeah.
there was a moment in filming this short film where you just wanted to throw in the towel. But Brian's now asking, like, was there ever a moment in your entire filming process
where you just wanted to be like, you know what?
maybe a camera's
gonna
not for me. I'm gonna go work in a factory.
I'm gonna go sell my body on the corner or something. You know what I mean? Like, is there ever a time? Legitimately, all jokes aside.
Yeah, no.
Have you ever wanted to? Was there a moment that you were like, man, this is it? Seriously, I think I have to quit.
Like, there are times the short answer is kind of no, like, but
Stud.
thoroughbred.
Fucking stud.
I mean,
they don't fucking make them like this anymore, guys.
I mean, I've always kind of known like something with like artistic creativity or like doing something like this. Like, I've always kind of wanted to do that, and then when I fell in love with like filming and the camera and how you can tell a story and stuff like that. But what does happen to me though is when I like will be working on projects and I'm like, I feel like I'm just kind of like copy and pasting like what I did on the last one. That means that like my like creativity tank is like out, and I'm like, I need to like
What do you do?
go on like a little like weekend trip somewhere, like just go do something fun, or like not film anything for like 3 weeks or something to kind of be like, you know, to get like unburnt out on it.
Yeah, like get a little drunk, meet a couple strangers or something. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
rebuild
unwind.
that fuel in the fuel
Yeah.
tank.
Read some books in the park.
Have some occurrences that aren't directly related to film that maybe will like draw you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I came from a lot of industries, like the news industry and some other places I've worked where they're always like, they would talk about like getting burnt out all the time. And I'm like, yeah, like that can happen, but like you can do things to, I have a lot of autonomy to like help that not happen too.
I don't think
to like
they
take
can
breaks and stuff.
I don't
you
think
know?
they can in the news. It's
And
like
they can't. Yeah,
sun
and
up,
some,
sundown every day, 3 o'clock,
I
5
know.
o'clock, 6 o'clock.
And I do get that. Like some things, it's just like if you're a doctor, you can't be like, well, I'm not going to be a doctor this week. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe you might be able to. But,
well, you might be able to.
so
but like, yeah, I know. What you're saying.
last minute shout outs. Who's got you to where you're at? Who's getting you to where you're going? And then also, do you have a release date for Factors yet?
Ooh, all good questions. Shout outs to who do I shout out? I don't know.
He's like, yeah, actually, fucking nobody, because I got my damn self here.
Nobody. Oh, I would say, you know, like my parents' support. Like I've got 2 kids, and they're they're always like, I'm always like, guys, come here and like,
Check
you know,
this
they're
out.
always like getting a camera out and stuff. And probably my grandpa, honestly, like he's like put like a love.
97, Grandpa?
97, still rocking,
Out there crushing it, dude.
crushing it. Going,
What's his name? Can I ask? Is it like Sissel or something?
Yeah, his name's Robert, but he's Grandpa Bob. We go by Grandpa
I
Bob.
love a good Bobbert, dude. I love a good Bob.
He's in the World War II and all that stuff.
Damn,
So,
he's a real stud. So
I'd
that's
say
what.
like shout out, like that was kind of like the love of like, you know, Tommy, do something creative, you know. And then what was the second? Oh,
Do you have a release date
Release
for
date.
Factors?
Plug yourself. Anything you want coming up. Just factors, and then as well, anything else you got coming
yeah,
up.
stay tuned. Things are very close to releasing.
Maybe some strange things.
some strange things. I have a couple dates in my head, but of the release for the I'd see what happened there.
He's like
Yeah.
JCJR, dude. He's
Yeah.
he's putting it together.
So stay tuned. It will be soon.
And then where can people find you on social media so they can stay tuned?
Excellent question. You guys are kicking ass at this.
Kicking
it's
ass, taking names,
like
dude.
you've done it before. Probably the best way is just through, like, I'm super active on Instagram. Like, I have ADD, so I can't do everything.
Which is just your name together, no spaces.
Yeah, Thomas Bernardin on Instagram is where you can like get to my website and all that stuff, or you can go to my website, or you can just search me.
On Google.
You might find the famous chef in France, or you might find me.
But also kind of fuck that guy. Like,
Yeah,
he's
like,
kind of spoiling your name.
He's trying to steal
The thunder.
He might be the dude that has my Twitter handle name, who I messaged like 8 years ago and was like, dude, you've only tweeted once and it sucked.
Yeah, please
Can I
delete.
have your name? And everybody around me was like, that's the dumbest thing to do. I'm like,
I did
"No,
that
it's
with
not."
Anomalist. There was some guy that has like Anomalist and that's all it is or whatever. And I was like, bro, like.
And they like tweeted from the beach in like 2009, like, kick ass hot dog today. And you're like, I need your account.
You're using this platform
Hey,
wrong.
listen here, old man. Give me this fucking Twitter. No, I actually got lucky with Instagram. I got actually both. I had a Twitter for a little bit, deleted it, but my Instagram is at the real Brian Day, because you know a lot of people were doing
yeah.
at the real whatever your name is.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
got very, very lucky. So if you're looking for me on
Or like
IG,
I am whatever
Cooper. Yeah.
you're.
yeah.
I am Cooper.
So I got the lucky. I'm the lucky. I am at the real Brian Day. So
Sick.
honestly, so yeah, fuck that other Thomas Bernardin just a little bit, not
Well-
like fully, but a little.
And Thomas, it was a pleasure to have another Thomas in the studio.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah, it
Thomas.
was like a little TG3 times 2.
Little T2, Terminator T2.
Dude, honestly,
Action.
I'm super pumped. You're coming in again because there's so many like personal questions.
Oh, wow.
I need to
Awesome.
know. So
I'll
maybe
do it.
in a few months. You know, we'll have you back in and we'll cover some more stuff, man, and talk
Yeah.
some movies.
The
and
film will
whatnot.
probably have come out by then.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
fucking pumped. Oh, did we hit a date? Do you have
He
a
just
date
said
for
he's got a
Factors?
few picked out, but he
I
hasn't
don't.
decided.
I have a few
Nothing
in my
hard
head
yet?
because I'm like looking at some rental places right now. So
Okay.
but stay tuned.
Okay.
Oh,
Stay
yeah.
tuned at all his social medias that he just mentioned or on the website, thomasbernardinfilm.com. Dude, thank you so much for coming in. You could have done anything for that last 2 hours, but you came in and
Oh.
hung out with the Days Grimm.
Dude,
so,
thank you for having me.
This has been another thrilling episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Grimm.
And this has been Thomas Bernardin. God bless you, sir. Filmmaker.
God bless you guys. All right. Holy crap.
Hey guys, if you liked what you heard today, there will be a new episode next Tuesday, as well as every Tuesday at 6 a.m. So hit that subscribe button and let your phone do all the work for you.